Hey everyone, Dr. Rudolph here again with Dynamic Health Solutions, going on to our next video on dealing with brain health and how we can keep ourselves healthy, especially in a very stressful world. I'm just going to start with a little bit of review from the last time so we understand what stress means again, and then go on to 10 different ways today that we can use our minds to be able to combat stress. So remember, last time we talked about stress. We talked about, there we go, stress. So under stress we have three responses: fight, flight, or freeze. And each one of those symptoms or those reactions can lead to our bodies going into a state where we just become overstressed, not be healthy, and our bodies basically are more worried about running away from a threat than resting, repairing, and fixing itself and being able to maintain a healthy state. So some of the things that we can do from a cognitive standpoint. I apologize, this video might be a little bit longer, but I think it's important that we go over these things. The first one being meditation. Meditation, the interesting thing about meditation is they always thought that when you have been meditating that your brain is shutting down. Actually, it's not. What's happening with meditation is activating the part of your brain that helps to silence the stress response. And so when you are meditating, you're actually activating parts of your brain versus shutting them down. So meditation is a good one. Next, Tai Chi or Qigong. Basically, Tai Chi or Qigong is meditation with movement. You're still using those parts of your brain that are shutting down the stress response, except now you're doing movements involving them to help with, once again, centering in, to calm down those stress centers and allow your brain to get more into the rest, repair, relax, and be healthy mode. Next one is literally to get up and take a break. Whether it be 5 minutes, 5 days, a year, take some time away from whatever the stress in your life may be. Don't worry, if you leave, it will definitely be there when you come back. But at least when you're away, you can set your mind and get it away from the constant drag of everyday stress in, stress out. Get your brain out of that cycle and hopefully get you back into more of a rest and repair mode versus the fight, flight, or freeze mode. Next one. Called the Peter Pan principle. Basically what the Peter Pan principle is, remember back when I gave you a little bit of review, Peter Pan was a young boy that didn't want to grow up, and one of his things that he could do was that he could fly as long as he had some fairy dust and a happy thought. So find your happy thought, but only find one. Find one thing that's a constant one, because every time you think about that same happy thought, it becomes more and more powerful to counteract the stress in your life. So, whether it be a vacation or the birth of your kids or whatever the case may be, just remember, focus on that one memory, that one thought, which will make it stronger and stronger over time. Next one is now, unfortunately, a lot of people think about the hypnosis as the guy that's making you think you're a chicken and run around the stage at a gathering. But no, hypnosis is actually very good at helping to calm the brain and get it once again out of that high stress, fight, flight, or freeze mode and get into more of the rest, repair, and healthy mode. Also with potentially getting some of the memories that are causing stress that you necessarily not even know about, but it helps to kind of counteract those as well. So after hypnosis, there's something called guided imagery. Guided imagery would be, and you can make these on your own. But let's say that your favorite place to be is, or where your favorite place you would like to be is sitting on the back porch in a swing watching the birds and the sunset. The idea with the guided imagery is that you kind of make a tape or have somebody else make a tape or describe how you're going to get to that area. And as you are walking your mind through that process, it once again helps to calm those overactive stress centers down so that you get more into the rest, repair, and relax versus the fight, flight, or freeze modes. Next one, and I'm sure this will make a lot of sense to most people. News shutdown. Literally stop watching TV and stop listening to the news. Good news doesn't sell, bad news does. And that's what the media is set up for, is to spread bad news because people are sensualized to it. They like to see the accidents. They like to hear about things that are on fire. They like to see, that's just the way, unfortunately, our brains are kind of wired, because it gets our adrenaline, our dopamine centers all revved up. The best thing to do is just, once again, take a break. Stop watching the news for a few days. Like hit the high. Chances are you'll stop watching it and you're going to still hear from other people what's going on. And once you'll start to realize, oh, you're not really missing that much. Next is to change perspective. Try and look at whatever the stressor is from a different angle. For instance, let's say you just lost your job. Instead of being all stressed about the fact that you had just lost your job, now think of it instead of as, hey, it's an opportunity for me to go on vacation, take some time away, look for that new job that I've always been wanting to do. Think of those potential positive aspects to losing your job versus all the negative ones. Breaking up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they weren't the one for you. I know it's tough, but that's one person in your life. You can don't think of it as just one person in the journey to the one that was truly meant for you. Little things like that to think about, once again, help you overcome that stress response and get you more into rest, repairing, and relaxing your brain so that it remains healthy. It doesn't break down from all the chronic stress. Solomon's ring is the next one. The long and short of this one is Solomon from the Bible wanted his scholars to find out what is the best way to live through life, what is the best meaning of life, how do we get through all things. Long story short, they came up with a 4-word statement that, when applied to any situation, will always help you have a good outcome, or at least in your mind a good outcome. And those 4 simple words this too shall pass. As I'm sure you've experienced with yourselves, any event that happens in life isn't it forever. For the majority, it will change, and you learn to be able to help your brain change with it in a healthy way versus an unhealthy, stressful way. Life becomes more tolerable, and once again, not as stressful. Just keeping in mind that this too shall pass. And last but not least, brain games. So, and it can be Sudoku, it can be chess, it can be checkers, it can be crossword puzzles, any of those things that make you kick in the prefrontal cortex area of your brain to help you think logically about things, to plan out, to execute. That part of your brain overcomes and silences the stress response in the lower portions of your brain, in the brainstem, and especially in the midbrain. So once again, doing any types of brain games can help. So the list can go on and on and on, from Scrabble to the Rubik's cubes to the apps that you have actually get on your phones. Those things can help break the monotony of the stress response, and once again get you out of that into the wet rest, repair, and relax mode. So once again, those are 10 cognitive ways to counteract stress. Next time we'll talk about more physical components and can go forward from there with other lists. So once again, do things that we already have access to that can help us to counteract and to combat and ward off extra stress. This is Dr. Rudolph once again. Just a quick reminder that once again February is our Love Your Brain month. That's why we're doing these videos, but also keep in mind that we're doing the right eye evaluations as a fundraiser for the North Dakota Brain Injury Network. We're doing those evaluations for $5 with all the proceeds going to the North Dakota Brain Injury Network.